We're going to talk about the quarterback discussion, which is brought to us by PrizePicks. You and I make decisions every day. Kevin Stefanski has a big decision to make in the near future, and on PrizePicks, being right gets you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement of this sports season, whether you're following the NFL, NBA, or both. There's no better time to jump in on the action. Download the PrizePicks app and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code LOCKEDONNFL for $50 in lineups after you play your first 5. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. So last week, after Shedeur played against Baltimore, Kevin Stefanski said, when Dillon is cleared, he will go back to being our starting quarterback. Then Shedeur went out and did what he did yesterday, a touchdown, a pick, 207 yards. And after the game, he was asked about who his starting quarterback will be against San Francisco. And as Jason adequately pointed out in the group chat, he said he wasn't sure yet, which in a way is actually progress from where he was last time. Was that your car, G?
Either that or it was just a bizarre coincidence that it had been a minute.
Yeah, like,
because they shut off automatically.
I'm like, that can't be me.
To answer your question, Mike, and listen, I was ripping Stefanski on my podcast last night for not naming Shedeur the starter. But to be fair, the more I thought about it, it's like he's got to name Shedeur the starter, and he should do it today. But he's got to talk to Dillon Gabriel first, and he probably hadn't had a chance yet. So I shouldn't have ripped him for that last night. But so I don't have a problem with him not saying that. But today he should come out and say Shedeur's the starter.
I can't imagine he doesn't.
He's had a chance to talk to Dillon now.
Yeah. Well, he gave him today off, so he may not see them till Wednesday.
What, I mean,
he could be in communication with them, though.
And maybe Dillon has something with concussion. I mean, you're not going to do it over the phone. You're going to do it at the facility.
That's true.
Yeah, all right.
And maybe he's got a concussion checked, because technically he hasn't been cleared yet from protocol.
He has not.
So if it doesn't happen today, I would imagine it would happen Wednesday, but I don't see.
There's no way you can go back.
I don't see. No. Not right now. You can't.
You can't. I mean, listen, and a lot of people, guys, don't get uptight about a lot of this stuff, man. This is regular protocol. This is the way things are done. Like we know that, like, you're not going to make the decision to sit him down after the game yesterday, but don't be alarmed that he didn't come out, jump on the table and say, "Oh, you know what? This is what we're going to do."
You got to show the respect to the other guy.
That's not the way they just do it, or whatever the situation is. And listen, hey, if he wants to talk to Dillon and hey, let him know. Again, it doesn't have to be one or the other. It don't have to be a level of disrespect for one guy because the one guy played well. You still want to give him the respect and say, okay, hey, look, man, we're going to go in this direction. You stay ready and all those good things. And that's just the way it works. That's the way that football and those locker rooms work. So to me, I that's a nothing burger. I would expect, and everybody fully expects, Shedeur Sanders will be the starting quarterback. And then going from there. But even with, like Shedeur said, like this is not like a thing where, oh, we won the Super Bowl. Nah, bro, this is all right. That was one obstacle, one task. We got the football win. We approved. Now, what do we do this week? What are we doing next week? How do we put some games together? Because be truthful, in the words of Sean King, listen, you don't win the starting job in 1 week. You don't win the starting job in one throw. You win by putting and stacking together good performances week to week. And I think he's locked in on that. And I think the thing that also helps is once you become the guy. And once you start to see, he said something that I liked. He said, I have a responsibility on my shoulders of the organization and those dudes in the locker room. So that keeps me honest on what I need to keep putting work in to continue to get this success. Because once you win and you get a taste of that, you want to continue to put that together. So, he'll start, but I mean, it's not nothing to be jumping up and down about.
He has to start. I heard a couple of people last night saying that, did he do enough to win the starting job? That's not what this is. This is about figuring out what the heck they have at quarterback. I think we've answered that question at Dillon Gabriel. That doesn't mean there's not room for Dillon Gabriel to improve. What it means is if we thought we had the quarterback of the future, and I'm not sure that the organization thinks either of these guys are that, but you got to check and eliminate and move on to the next guy. And I think we've seen enough from Dillon Gabriel to know he's not the guy. And now you've got 6 games left. I think that's a perfect number. I'm not saying Shedeur's going to get all 6 starts. I'm not saying he should. At this point, I think he should earn them one at a time. I desperately want to see what he does against better football teams. And we're going to get to see that Sunday because San Francisco is a markedly better football team than the Raiders. And let's see what kind of success he can have against San Francisco. And this is something that you build on. And if he plays well week to week, I think he remains the starter. If he at any point in time regresses to the second half of Baltimore, then I think maybe it becomes an open conversation. But for right now, I don't see how you make an argument that Dillon Gabriel has to be the starter against San Francisco. I haven't heard one yet.
There is no argument.
I haven't heard.
That would
I haven't
be
heard
ludicrous on Kevin Stefanski.
And I haven't heard a compelling argument yet. If it's out there, I'm waiting to hear it. But I don't know where it is.
To me, Shedeur Sanders showed you enough that you want to see more.
Absolutely.
Right? That's it. And if nothing else.
What's funny is his regular season has kind of mirrored his preseason. He had one game where he looked pretty good in the preseason and one game where he looked pretty bad. And that's exactly what he's done so far. What are young quarterbacks, if nothing else? Inconsistent. So which is he? Is he more the guy that we saw in the bad preseason game, in the bad Ravens game? Or is he more the guy that had the good preseason game and the solid game yesterday?
Yeah.
I
don't think anything out of the preseason. I think
no, but I mean, it just shows.
I've said that all along.
It shows that the floor and the ceiling between this guy, there's a huge difference in between.
But I do believe that the difference between preseason games is you can't underestimate what it is to get those reps, to be immersed, to have a playbook put around you, to have understanding what the quarterback coach wants to see, understand what Tommy Rees wants to do, and understanding how you fit into the scheme every single week. You can't imagine that. And that's why I always say sometimes it could have been unfair, right? Sometimes you get people, and we'll talk to Joe Thomas later on in the show. He said it like, you'll know fairly quickly if a guy is ready to go because you have to get acclimated to the speed of the game. If he would have came out here and he looked just like he did against the Ravens, chances are we're not even having this conversation.
No, we're not.
I want to clarify that with Joe because I think he means the players, not us on the outside.
Yeah, he absolutely meant the players.
Yeah, he was talking about the players.
I don't think he means us because you don't know. If anybody saying after 1.5 games that Shedeur Sanders is definitely not or is definitely the answer is being foolish.
Well, you can see.
You don't know that.
There's certain things, there's certain traits. The only thing we can look at is the traits on the tape, right? Only thing you can do is look at the traits and some of the things that he puts out there and say, okay, where can you get better and where can you improve here or there? Now, to do that, and because we always talk about the 5th round pick thing, right? And we talked about it. He was like, well, what do you expect? He's a 5th round pick. He's not going to be getting first team reps. It also has to work in the opposite way. If you are a 5th round pick and you are not getting reps, it is impressive to see that you can go and correct your mistakes on the fly that quickly between the 4 days, 3 days, and say, it's hard to stop running backwards.
Yes, you're right.
I'm just saying,
absolutely, and he deserves credit for that.
We can't make sweeping judgments about him good or bad based on 35 passes.
No. I don't.
I say
it's crazy.
Hold your powder.
Yeah.
One way or the other.
We don't know. I don't think.
Oh, a lot of people are doing that.
All I could do,
at their own peril.
All I could do is speak for myself, right? Like, look. I mean, what I said is valid. It still rides. It still goes. What happens on this football field will either keep you on the football field or be the reason you're not playing.
Yes.
And so this is just round one. A lot of people. This is round one. We just getting into the fight. Let's see how you handle it round 2 and see what you're going to do with that. So for me, there's a lot of encouraging things, but even if you ask Shedeur Sanders or if you ask Prime right now, you think they're doing jumping jacks? No. They're like, let's get.
They know what it is.
Yeah, let's face it. If this is the best of Shedeur Sanders, that's not good enough.
We're ready to go.
So he knows that.
The question that we have to have answered by January is what are we doing at quarterback?
Well, eventually they have to take the guardrails down and they have to let him play quarterback.
And that's what the next 6 weeks are for.
And because yesterday was a lot of this and a lot of this and a lot of this.
Win the game.
With 1 or 2 of those and granted, we haven't seen those, so that was a pleasant surprise to see. But it was still a lot of this.
Sure.
And at some point, you have to play quarterback.
Yeah, and I think that's what's going to happen. Even with Dillon Gabriel, we saw that each week, more and more of
Dillon
the offense.
regressed.
He did.
Dillon
But
regressed.
what I'm saying is
Dillon's
they gave him more every week, and he couldn't handle it.
Dillon's best game was Minnesota.
He looked decent early, and then I just thought, wow, he's missing some of the throws that he was hitting early on, and that could be the fact that a quarterback can feel overwhelmed with what you're throwing at him, because if you got a base of 25 plays, you can get your mind around those 25 plays, but then if you start expanding it to 50, last night during the Sunday night telecast, I thought it was funny. They talked a lot about the 25-word play calls from the Rams and how convoluted that is and how crazy that is for a quarterback to get their mind around. It is a lot. And it's one thing if there's only 15 or 20 of them. But what happens when there gets to be 50 and then 75? And so that's why a lot of times young quarterbacks will take a step back, because the team is taking some of the guardrails off, and the quarterback is telling you, you're putting me in water that's too deep for me to swim in. Okay, then he sinks. I'm curious to see what happens as they give him more of the offense, because you're right. We've got to see a lot more of Shedeur Sanders, and I don't just mean the short passes. Let's see how he handles it when they do take how does he deal with a 10-point deficit?
Yesterday wasn't the time for that either.
No.
Like, they handled yesterday exactly as they should have. It helped that they didn't have to put him into dangerous positions, that he could take care of the football, and he showed that he can take care of the football. I did like that he threw it out of bounds a couple of times. I thought the one screen pass, the one when the former Brown got flagged, I thought it was a dumb flag. I thought that was a dangerous pass he got away with.
That was Adams.
Jamal Adams.
Jamal Adams slammed the dude.
That shouldn't have been a flag. That shouldn't have been a flag.
I didn't love that call either.
But the pass was like, all right. And the one down the field, I thought if 22 got his head around and saw where the ball was, that could have been picked, the one into the corner of the end zone. But
he was throwing at Tillman, and Tillman stopped on the route.
Yeah, that one. And 22
Yeah, I don't know what Tillman
it.
was doing there.
I don't either. Tillman looked terrible.
So there's certain things that they can go back and look at and clean up. But for the most part, yeah, I thought he executed what they gave him. And what else can you ask?
Do we like the white helmets, by the way?
Of course.
I did.
I thought they looked like Miami. Right there, especially in that shot. Of
course,
like
I like
University of Miami.
Of course. Here's another thing, too.
They haven't lost in those.
I think the big thing is what you can't get lost in this is the Cleveland Browns are playing a ton of rookies. I mean, their starting quarterbacks are rookies. Their best
13
their
on
best
the roster,
offensive players are rookies. Fannin and Juck and Sampson made a play. Schlesinger, the best.
That's to make 2 plays.
Yeah, listen. They got a young core, and the thing that's important to your young core is I don't care if it's the Raiders or St. Ignatius or St. Ed's. I'm trying to win these football games. They on the schedule. If you can find a way to win the game, that pays dividends to your young players.
Building culture.
It builds okay, all right, we got something. And if you can do that, building with a young quarterback and young guys around, then you can start to try to develop some sort of foundation. And the fact that Tommy Rees, I believe this is his first game he won as play caller. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah.
So Tommy Rees is going to evolve, right? Like, he'll evolve as a play caller, and he'll figure out what it is. You know, it's his first game playing with Shedeur Sanders, and he'll figure out some things, and he'll get better. So, you know, it's a work in progress for a lot of them. It was perfect, again, no, but there were a lot of encouraging things that I think, if you're a Browns fan, you can get excited about and wrap your head around and get ready for next
I'll
week.
say something that'll probably be controversial because it worked. But the one thing I didn't love, I want to see Shedeur in goal line situations. And I know that the Wildcat worked with Judkins the 2 times they ran it and they scored touchdowns, so it's really hard to argue against it. But I also, the game is played between the 20s, and then it's played on the other ends when you're in plus territory and minus territory. And I think red zone experience is extremely important for young quarterbacks, and I didn't love that he wasn't on the field when they scored their first 2 touchdowns.
As hard as this team has been at scoring touchdowns, you're going to complain about how they're scoring touchdowns?
That's why
Herman Edwards says what? You play to win the game.
I get it. But this was, like I said, this is the perfect storm. You had a horrible offense.
You got more storms
You had a
coming.
horrible defense.
You got plenty of time.
I want to see a quarterback operate in a red zone
They're
situation.
having great success with this.
Hey,
it's worked every time they've done it, I think. I can't remember a time that it got stopped.
It's a lot of Shedeur fans, and we was on the post game, and I told him like this: "Hey, listen, I get what you're saying. You will see, maybe your parlay is in danger, but listen." If we can punch this in on this goal line, I'll live to fight another day with getting Shedeur Sanders some red zone touches. We'll figure that out.
Can turn around and hand it off to him another day.
What was the over, Mike? Was it 34.5?
36.5.
36.5. Wow. So that not kicking the field goal at the end was a bad beat for a lot of guys.
What was the final score?
24-10?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it went
So
under,
the field goal would have put it over.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, there's going to be a lot of gamblers
gambling.
that took the over on this thing and are saying,
I don't know.
why in the world would you not kick that field goal?
I don't bet the
Why in
most
the world
of the
would
money
you
was on
take the over? Why would you take the over?
That's a better question.
Most teams on the field.
Hey, you got to think about this. Tommy Reese. And Tommy Reese on that in that playbook, he is not thinking about overs, unders. He is this my third game. I'm auditioning.
Well, that's a Stefanski decision. Whether he's going to punt.
Did you see Stefanski's post game where he's in the locker room cursing and all that stuff?
I missed it.
He is so awkward. Even in his post game rah-rah speeches, he's very awkward.
He was fired up. He fired up.
No, come on. That was awkward.
During the game, we said, "Well, did Kevin curse twice?"
No, but in the locker room when he's giving the speech, he's cursing.
He's cursed in.
I know, but it was just really awkward.
It just comes off different when you hear guys like Dan Campbell, McVay.
They say it with their chest.
It's not not even necessarily a knock. It's just there's some guys that are less comfortable. Jason mentioned this real quick. The last point that we want to get on because we got to talk about Judy's fumble and some other things in this game.
I have no idea what Mike just said.
Stefanski is speaking at 1:30 today.
What's that? Stefanski is?
1:30. He will assuredly be asked about his starting quarterback for next week.
100%.
Do you think that when we come in tomorrow and do our UCSS show, we will be talking about a decision or whether or not Stefanski is delaying making that call till Wednesday?
I think he's probably delaying because, as Jason said, he's going to want to talk to him in person.
Well, maybe Dillon's in the building today. I don't know. I just know that.
But if it's a concussion, so that wouldn't mean he'd be coming into rehab for.
No, it's not a rehab, but it could be a. I have no idea.
They might need to test him.
He was on the field Friday, right? Wasn't he on the practice field Friday?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we'll have a decision.
So I have no idea. I have no idea what protocol is.
So you think he's going to announce the quarterback change today, Jason?
I don't know because I don't know if he's going to see Dillon today.
All right. But if he sees him today, you think he'll announce it?
Yeah.
Or is he going to play the games?
No, he's not.
In honesty, there's no advantage. In fact, you could say that there's a disadvantage if you announce it earlier than later.
I don't buy that.
I mean, who you're preparing for, I don't know that they're vastly different quarterbacks.
This is a non-story.
Teams do like to know who they're going to play.
Whatever. If you want to announce it on Thursday, we already know what it's going to be. It is what it is. Go ahead, announce it when you ever want to, Kev. Just it's going to be it's very anticlimactic. So
yeah, I think it is too. Initially I was surprised that he didn't come out and say. I think the question would have been, did he play well enough to earn the job next week, to stay on the field? And I think the question was, who are you going to start?
Yeah.
Now you're
not
asking
like he would have given a straight answer.
No, but at least now you're asking him a question now on specifically what level of play he thought he got out of the quarterback, and was that high enough for him to continue starting?
Yeah.
So, but it doesn't matter. We didn't get the answer. I do think we'll know by tomorrow. I think we'll know by today.